Duke, do you want the ball?
Hi there, hi. Welcome back to my room. Don't mind what I was just doing. I was delving into a deep rabbit hole of cursed things on the internet, and that doesn't matter. You know what? I already know why you're here. We both know why you're here. Come on, man. It's obvious. So, fuck all the intros. I'll just give you a short one, but let's just get straight back to what you want. Yep. Welcome back. Now floor part 4. It has been a minute, but I have got some time to kill with my very lazy life, so let's rip the band-aid off and let's just fucking lore dump, shall we? Alright, where do we leave off? I believe we left off with William Afton getting springlocked to fucking back. He crawled into the spring Bonnie suit, the one he used to kill kids. Water leaked in through the abandoned building's roof, moistened the spring locks, and crushed him. He was left to rot by Henry, who probably found him dying, and instead of helping his former business partner turned serial killer, he decided to finally get rid the world of him for good by sealing him off behind a wall. Probably called up some of the last minute employees or maybe some random people to seal up the room, prevent any legal troubles, because shit like that would probably get noticed within a couple weeks if you left it open, and also to just keep him in there, finally get the world rid of him. But William Afton is not dead. His experimentation with Remnant to make himself immortal, coupled with the fact that the spring locks probably missed a couple crucial areas of his body, and he did not die. The remnant, as well as his inner hatred, or his inner maniac, kept him alive. Although he couldn't do much. He was a husk of his former self, and all he could do was sit. He didn't have any control of his muscles. Again, they all got torn up in the springlock failure. Basically, all he was left to was his own thought and trying to regain control of his body in that safe room. He stayed there over the course of several dozen years. So he was left to his thoughts. He stayed in that room for a long time. I won't say how long yet, but we're going to change perspectives. We're going to go back to Ennard in the sewers. You may recall that, you may recall back in part 2, I think it was, that Michael Afton had, spit Ennard back out into the sewer after his corpse was spotted for Ennard to be considered human. Like, he killed Michael and he basically scooped Michael's innards out and took his body so that way he could be human and get out of the facility. And a purple rotting corpse of a human isn't really a human anymore. So Ennard decided to retreat. Michael barfed him, and Michael was still alive, but Ennard was in the sewers. Ennard, and our friendly reminder that Ennard is made up of 5 of the Funtime souls. Ennard was made up of all of the Funtime animatronics, Remnant, and souls coming together into one so that way they could escape. Friendly reminder because that'll be important in just a second. Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, Ballora, I don't remember, Circus Baby, and one more. I can't remember who it was. Ballora, Funtime Foxy, Funtime Freddy, Baby. Probably just Ennard Zone. Something like that, I don't know. There were either 4 or 5. I think there were 4. But either way, they're in the sewers, and all of the souls kind of have different thoughts. They are all kind of like mangled up into one, which means that they don't get along most of the time. They're kind of just trying to control one body, which is very awkward. And so, Circus Baby, who is the head of the original group of Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental and Circus Babies Pizza World, decides that she suddenly wants to call the shots. She thinks she has main character syndrome or something. She thinks she's the main character. She thinks she's the hot shit. Elizabeth Afton thinks that anyway, because, you know, possession and whatnot. But the rest of the characters don't really agree with her. She's kind of the cocky know-it-all. You know, your average rumor-spreading high school white girl. Uh, she everyone so basically when she tries to call the shots, everyone collectively decides that, you know what, fuck this clown, and they kick her out of the inner tribe. Now, what does that mean? It probably means that I don't know, like her soul gets kicked out, or like they like take apart her section or something. And so, Circus Baby, who is the head of the original group of Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental and Circus Babies Pizza World, decides that she suddenly wants to call the shots. She thinks she has main character syndrome or something. She thinks she's the main character. She thinks she's the hot shit. Elizabeth Afton thinks that anyway, because, you know, possession and whatnot. But the rest of the characters don't really agree with her. She's kind of the cocky know-it-all. You know, your average rumor-spreading high school white girl. Uh, she everyone so basically when she tries to call the shots, everyone collectively decides that, you know what, fuck this clown, and they kick her out of the inner tribe. Now, what does that mean? It probably means that I don't know, like her soul gets kicked out, or like they like take apart her section or something. She basically decides that, she also kind of, well, they kick her out, and she decides that she's gonna go live off on her own. So, which leads us to a character, which leads her to become something that will become relevant later in the story, and Ennard to take on a new form that will also become important later in the story, but not right now. So we have Michael Afton, uh, uh, -1 Ennard, rejected Circus Baby. Now we have two remaining pieces left. I won't say what that means yet. As let's jump back to Afton. He was left alone in that safe room for 30 fucking years. Yep. 30 fucking years. And the whole Ennard and Michael stuff kind of happened during that time span, although it's not exactly clear when, but basically Michael Afton's corpse rotting, and the Ennard stuff that I just discussed all happened during the time when William Afton was in the safe room, which explains why Michael Afton, or why William Afton, like, kind of never helped Michael throughout Sister Location. I think William Afton went to go, because William Afton left to go experiment with the remnant that was left in the animatronics. Within the animatronics of the FNAF 1 place, which is what led him to get crushed. So that explains why he never came back to the house, and Michael had to deal with everything down in Circus Babies Entertainment and Rental by himself. Now, William Afton gets spring-locked about 1995-ish. Or however long it takes for a place to, like, for a basically concrete building to just decay, or whatever material it's made out of, I don't fucking know. But either way, he gets crushed. He stays in the room until 2023, which is next year. By that point, he has become the grotesque figure you see on screen right now. I don't know if you can see it or if the sunlight's reflecting it like a bitch, but He is basically a rotted husk of his former self. He has decayed so much that his suit's not even yellow anymore. Hang on. That is what he's become. This. He went from a yellow rabbit suit meant to entertain the masses into this horrifying fucking monstrosity. You can even see his organs just decayed and mushed. The pink stuff. Ugh. It's fucking disgusting. Either way, he is now, he now goes by a name that I will refer to from now on as Springtrap, obviously, because spring locks. Yeah, it's kind of a weird wordplay. So, as to what you have probably guessed, this leads us into the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. The year is 2023. A new corporation looking to continue to milk money out of the dead franchise that was Freddy Fazbear's Entertainment, decides to start up a horror attraction dedicated to all of the past rumors and child murders that happened while the place was, a kid's place. But, and they actually managed to scavenge quite a lot for themselves, like a bunch, as Phone Dude says at the beginning of night one. They managed to make they get a Foxy head, an old desk fan, some authentic Freddy Fazbear, they even managed to get some of the animatronic, outer skeleton, the thing that makes them look like a bear or whatever. Or the suit, the hollow suit. They get a ton of those. They get, Freddy one, they get Bonnie's, they get a Foxy head and a Chica head. They get a lot. They get a bunch of decorations, props, but they still needed one more thing to make the place a true horror attraction. An animatronic. A real one. A working one. An authentic one from Fazbear Entertainment. And while searching the ruins of a certain old 1993 Freddy Fazbear location, they discover either some decayed... They discovered they discovered that that one of the walls is hollow. So they decide to dig into it or break the boards, or it was either wooden boards or cement. Either way, it doesn't matter. They break down the planks and discover a bunny suit. A spring-locked suit. A green one. They just re-unearthed William Afton. They found him, and not realizing what has become of, or what the context was of, or how the spring-lock suit was previously used, or the bunny suit, because they don't know it's spring-lock. Actually, no, they do, because they find tapes. They find phone guy tapes back from the very first Fredbear's location that talk about how to properly use a spring-lock suit. Like how I mentioned in part 1. They just find Mr. Afton here, bring him back to the new location, and essentially set him free to run loose inside Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction. Now, this leads us back to Michael Afton, who has promised to find his father after not being able to see him not being able to find him for supposedly decades by now. He said, "I'm going to come find you." I don't know if I said that already, but Michael said, "I'm going to come find you." So, eventually, he does. He figures out about how Fazbear's Fright is opening, and he decides that in order to find his father, or in order to get in, he decides to take the job of the night guard. Yep, Mike Afton is the night guard of FNAF 3. So, over the course of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we will experience Springtrap once it was We will experience Springtrap's rage. Gosh, that's stuttering. I hate stuttering so much. But again, perks of being unscripted. By perks, I mean fucking nightmares. So the two are reunited in a place that they both hate now with a passion. Michael Afton has to keep track of his father and make sure he doesn't get into his office by means of using an audio lure to keep the spring-lock suit of William Afton was like kind of the animatronic was designed. The animatronic part was designed to go near children's laughing, and so they use a fake decoy. Michael Afton uses a fake decoy version of that called like an audio lure to keep William Afton away from his office. So if he plays one in another room, William Afton's suit will make him march towards that room. Does that make sense? So essentially, he just does that, as well as sealing off vents. There are a lot of vents in the facility. He seals them off in order to keep Springtrap at bay. And weird thing happens where the souls of... Well, yeah. You know how the souls were supposedly set free now that Afton, their killer, was dead? Well, since he actually isn't anymore, the souls are forced to come back in the form of phantom animatronics, aka animatronics that are hallucinatory, so they aren't real, like they don't have a physical form, but they look like they have one. Does that make sense? Like they can't cause any physical harm. They'll just cause you to hyperventilate from stress, because seeing ghosts and the like, and fucking like, yeah. So let me show you. We've got Phantom Foxy. Phantom Balloon Boy from FNAF 2. Phantom Chica. Phantom Freddy. And the Phantom Puppet. The one who started it all apparently is back. And so, the gang's all here for the worst family reunion of your fucking life. So much so that most of the family there isn't even family. They're just associated with your father, who is a sociopath and a psychopath. So, also attack Michael, causing him to have hallucinations and because. Okay, so the Phantom animatronics are weird. It's weird to explain, but basically, there is a panel where in FNAF 3 there's a mechanic where you have to reboot the systems that you use to keep Springtrap away. So the audio lure needs rebooting, that keeps him away from your office. The ventilation needs reboot. The camera systems need rebooting, so that way you can actually see what the fuck you're looking at. And most importantly, the ventilation needs rebooting, because not only does it not functioning prevent you from sealing Springtrap out, but it also causes a lack of air to circulate through the room, and so you start to hyperventilate, and that's when you start seeing these phantom animatronics. Basically, when you're already panicking, and so they're hallucinations. Again, they don't have a physical form, but they're still souls that are hallucinations to Michael because he starts seeing because of a lack of circulation. Does that make sense? This is so confusing. Ugh. Okay, so Michael has to endure both Springtrap and the souls of his victims all over the course of 5 nights. And Fazbear's Fright is just about to open. It was supposed to open a week it was supposed to open I can't English. It's supposed to open the week after Michael starts the job. So if he starts on night 1 and goes until night 5, it would be open in 2 days, and Michael would need to it would be open in 3 days because there's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yes, God, I'm an idiot. It'd be open in 3 days, and that's when he'd start being a day shift guard and start spooking tourists or guests or whatever. So his plan was to not only do this night shift, but do the day shift after the place actually opens. This is a week before the place opens. The events of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. So, Michael endures all 5 nights of trying to keep his father away from him. But on night 5, he decides that enough is enough, and it's time to finally set everything associated with the Fazbear name to rest. So, what does Michael do? He grabs the gasoline can, starts pouring it throughout the facility. As soon as he reaches the exit, he strikes a match, lets it down, or throws it down, and sets the building ablaze. Hoping to exterminate everything to do with Fazbear Entertainment once and for all. And when all was said and done, the newspaper the next morning reads that Fazbear's Fright burned to the ground, and no one knows why, but the most likely cause was faulty wiring. And the remaining stuff that survived the fire would be auctioned off at a later date. But Springtrap survives. Yep. He survives the fire. But he's still pretty beat. He's even more beat up than he was before. But now, he fucking wants to murder his son. Because he most likely pieced 2 and 2 together and figured out that Michael, one who tried to kill him, his own father. And that is what started the true final chapter of Five Nights at Freddy's. William Afton survives, and now Michael Afton is probably back on the streets again. That somehow manages to pay his father's house rent. Maybe they just own the fucking place. I don't know. But either way, thus ends the chapter of Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Oh wait, most importantly, there's a 6th night called Nightmare, but that is not a canon one. That is not a canon night because it's literally what the name implies, a nightmare. Only nights 1 through 5 are canon. This is just a bonus hard challenge because. Okay? Well, one more piece is ready. We just need one more. Now then, let's finish this, shall we? That's it. So, remember when I was talking about pieces? Well, Henry, the guy who was William Afton's former business partner and the guy who sealed William off in the safe room, figured out about this whole possessed robots thing and decided he needed to end it for good. So, he discovers that possessed animatronics thing, and he starts up a new Freddy's. The year is still 2023. He starts up a new Freddy's and puts up a job application for a manager / future entrepreneur or whatever, or CEO of this Fazbear Entertainment franchisee. And of course, Michael gets the news and applies and gets a job. So, Michael is tasked with building up a big pizzeria with tons of wacky props, rides, the works. All as a means to make money and keep the business going. Doesn't sound bad, right? Well, there's a catch. So, the catch is that for Michael, he was given like a certain list of tasks or a certain list of requirements that he needs to meet in order to fulfill the purpose fulfill the purpose of the business. One of which was paragraph 4. Paragraph 4 of this list says that he must bring any animatronics he finds in the back alley and bring them in and salvage them for money. Doesn't seem too bad. It just sounds like a bunch of parts, right? Well, the animatronics being salvaged are the last remaining remnants of souls. For example, on night 1, actually. Wait. Yeah, night 1. Night 1, he salvages something. So on night 1, he salvages a being called Molten Freddy, which is just a tangle of wires, literally a pile of wires with a Freddy mask. Does that sound familiar? Not really. Well, big part, which is Molten Freddy is actually what Ennard has become. Ennard, after Baby got kicked out of Ennard, Funtime Freddy decided to take over the body and made a new mask resembling, or partly resembling because it's in fucking shambles, Freddy. So they take up it basically takes on a new form called Molten Freddy. And it's still got all the souls, it's still Ennard, just now with a new face. Got it? Now Michael salvages Molten Freddy by performing audio checks to see if the animatronic is responsive. Michael literally has like a desk that there are 2 chairs on each side of the desk, and he sits on one, and the animatronic sits on the other, which in my opinion is kind of fucking stupid. You are a literal walking corpse who has just found out about the existence of possessed animatronics, and you decide them right in fucking front of you? What are you doing? But regardless, he does audio checks, and sometimes the animatronic tries to attack him, so he has a taser to, make sure keep it in check. But using the taser too much would decrease the salvage money that he gets from salvaging it, so he can only use it a couple of times. Now Michael salvages Molten Freddy by performing audio checks to see if the animatronic is responsive. Michael literally has like a desk that there are 2 chairs on each side of the desk, and he sits on one, and the animatronic sits on the other, which in my opinion is kind of fucking stupid. You are a literal walking corpse who has just found out about the existence of possessed animatronics, and you decide them right in fucking front of you? What are you doing? But regardless, he does audio checks, and sometimes the animatronic tries to attack him, so he has a taser to, make sure keep it in check. But using the taser too much would decrease the salvage money that he gets from salvaging it, so he can only use it a couple of times. So after he performs all the audio checks, saves his own life by using a taser, and recording all the responses, he gets to salvage the robot. And that is basically the premise of the mechanics of Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Or Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, as it likes to call it. Basically, it's basically a tycoon game, but after you're done, I should explain this part. You rinse and repeat this throughout the course of several nights. You renovate your pizzeria, and post night 2 onwards, you are placed in an office and tasked with, doing tasks for your pizzeria, like ordering cups or whatever, while the animatronics try to make their way towards you. You have a variety of tools at your disposal to keep them at bay, such as an audio lure, like from FNAF 3, fucking, what was the other one? Motion sensors, so you can detect where all of the robots are in the building, as well as silent ventilation. It'll make your office much quieter, so that way the animatronics can't detect you as well, but at the cost of your room heating up and getting hotter. To get too hot, otherwise you pass out and basically lose out on, or basically have to start the night over, and you don't get to salvage anything. So, basically, Michael evades the robot. I forgot to mention, the robots you salvage are the ones who are after you. So, there's an option to throw them back in the alley to prevent this from happening. But if you threw them back into the alley, you wouldn't get money for the salvage, and you wouldn't fulfill the requirements of paragraph 4, and so you would get the bad ending of this game. So your goal is to salvage all of them, and after night 2, Michael salvages his own father, Springtrap, who has now much more beat up and damaged, and has decided to go stop going by Springtrap and just go by something, or go by his last name, Afton. So he just goes by Afton. He's still in the rabbit suit. His is basically just skull at this point. It's just skull and a couple clumps of flesh. Like, it's disgusting. So he salvages his own dad. Kind of awkward. Sorry about the wait in between parts, everyone. I had a couple of sudden errands to run. I thought I didn't. So now I've got more time to kill. So let's hopefully finish this up for good. Depending on if I... So as we were saying, Michael salvages William's dad, or his own dad, throws him into the... goes through the tycoon again, and then... Actually, I forgot to mention, at the beginning of the week, these don't go by nights, they go by days of the week, because again, you're working the day shift. Like, you're working during the day thing anymore, like, because a pizza tycoon, you build up your pizza chain and then open it. So, it's kind of a day shift thing now. As I was saying, they go by day shift, and so, you obviously start on Monday, and, the guy who is supposedly, like, your manager or whatever, or like the person who basically tells you how you're getting into, he says something ominous at the end of like the intro cutscene to this game. He says like, "Don't forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place," which obviously comes off as confusing to the new players, but as you play on, you get it. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, pieces. So Monday. So night 3 is Wednesday. Wednesday. You survive both Molten Freddy and Afton in the same facility, and then after you do your tasks, you salvage Baby, the scrap baby, Circus Baby, or you salvage what she's become after she left the Ender tribe, which is Scrap Baby. Basically, take her original clown design and just wither. Imagine she like pieced herself back together using parts and pieces from an alley. That's what she is. I guess that's why most of them are called scrap robots now, or the whole thing is referred to as scrap robots. She's like a giant claw for a hand. She's got like rollerblade feet, like a waitress in like a '70s diner. It's really crazy. Like, apparently the claw on her hand was the claw that she killed Elizabeth with. Like, remember how Baby, like, the claw and took Elizabeth and crushed her? Well, apparently that claw, like, she ripped it out of herself and made it her hand. Which is kind of morbid, come to think of it. So, you salvage Circus Baby, or your sister, because remember, Michael's the one we're playing as, and Circus Baby is possessed. So, he salvages his sister, and then you go on to Thursday. You rinse and repeat the process, but now with 3 robots in the facility trying to kill you. And then you salvage Lefty. Uh, Lefty's a black robot bear who I think I've already gone over, like shortly before this. But either way, I'll just clarify. He's a version of Freddy Fazbear, but imagine he's got like a red hat and bow tie, and he's just basically all black around. That's Lefty, and and through a secret cutscene, it's revealed that he has the body of the puppet inside of him, that the one that sat next to Charlie as she was dying. Remember how in the very first part I went over how uh, a girl named Charlie, Henry's daughter, was killed by William Afton, and the puppet and how a puppet was being broken down by the rain and laid next to her and took her soul. Well, that puppet found the left. That puppet. Well, Henry figured out that his daughter had possessed the pet that he built to protect her with. So he came up with a suit that's meant to capture her. That suit was Lefty. Basically, what happens was the puppet would probably find the suit to it for safety because the puppet again was withered from the rain that one time Charlie was murdered, and then the Lefty would enclose itself. It would enclose itself, keeping the puppet inside of the suit, and when you think about it, it's kind of weird because it's an animatronic inside of an animatronic, which has a kid in it. It's a lot of Inception. But either way, Charlie is the puppet / Lefty. He is the next one to be salvaged, and I believe after that. Oh yeah, there he is. I don't know if you could see him. Here, let me help you. That is the black one. That one. That's what he looks like. Not him. Him. Got that? Okay, cool. So they get salvaged. Now you're at Friday. Friday is a very special night because. So Friday then happens, you're on to Friday, which is a very special night because it's the day before. Everything's supposed to be in one place, or like the big party, as he also as the CEO weird guy as when you were talking to him. Like a party Saturday, you want them all to be in one place. So Friday, you do the same thing. You keep building. You do the same office tasks that you did before, but now instead of salvaging something shortly enough, you are quickly shortly after hear baby's voice start talking. Michael lured them all into one place to give them a gift, and that she's going to make her father proud, which again is William Afton, who's also in the building. But then Miller cuts her off, saying I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. And he goes on to tell them that they weren't here to receive a gift, but that this whole entire pizzeria was actually a trap set up by Henry to call lost souls back into one place so that he can finally rid the entire world of Fazbear Entertainment for good. He basically goes on to say that the spirits will find peace except for William Afton, where he will be going to hell for the crimes. And he says, and I quote, "Don't keep the devil waiting, old friend," which is kind of a badass one-liner. So everything's burning. All the doors are locked. Everything was locked in all the ways. Also states that for the person who we were playing as, there was a way out planned for them, but he doesn't think that's what they want, and that they think that they're right where they want to be, which, Michael Afton, now the purple skin corpse that he is, probably wouldn't want to continue with life after being in such pain and torment of being a husk corpse. he probably just accepted that he needs to go with the rest of the family. So, there and then, after all this time, they all finally burn. All of the souls burn, setting everyone free and condemning William Afton to hell. And that's it. Just kidding. Yeah, no, that's not how this is working. This is not how this works. You would think that would be a good ending, the best ending for the series, and in fact, it was. But this is when we enter into the new phase of Five Nights at Freddy's. The new phase? What the fuck? What? What do you mean? Yeah, the new phase. So, let me just go over it. Let me just recap. It's been a while since Freddy Fazbear's is burned to the ground. Everyone is dead. Everyone is dead. Which leads us to Ultimate Custom Night, which is actually William Afton's Hell/Purgatory after FNAF 6. This is William Afton's Hell, or at least supposedly. You see, split path here. There's the theories saying that William Afton did survive the fire of Five Nights at Freddy's 6, and that this is him suffering in a hospital bed, as told by one of the FNAF books that came out, like The Man in Room 1280 or something, where like a huskless corpse that shouldn't even be alive is in a bed suffering. But then there's the other where this is his hell end period. Something else happens on later. I'll explain it, but I don't care. I'm actually, yeah. This is his purgatory, because while he himself, his body is most likely dead, he somehow manages to live. He somehow manages to live through the fire of FNAF 6, and and once, like, police or fire department probably found out about the fire, because, like, reports of smoke rising or whatever, they probably searched the rubble for bodies. Williams, now even without his suit, like, his suit burned off, so now he's just basically a skeleton with a few clumps of flesh holding it together, or something like, yeah. Well, actually, he still does have the suit, but it's, like, charred beyond really black, and he has barely any of his legs left, barely any of his arms. He has to, like, it's weird. So, this is his purgatory that was made by one single spirit. Yeah, this is a purgatory, not a hell. Like, he didn't die yet. But remember the Golden Freddy, the character that was always, like, in a limp. Golden Freddy was always, like, limped over whenever we saw him. Filled over, like, he never moved. Like, he was just sitting there, like, he couldn't move because he was a spring-lock suit. Like, that was in animatronic modes, so it can't do anything. So souls being trapped inside of there can't move. All they have to do is just basically try to in pain. And the person who possessed Golden Freddy got really pissed off by this. A young boy, I think it's a young boy, I don't remember, but either way, it's a young boy named Cassidy who condemns William to this hell. And as for now, it's the only way that William Afton is still alive. Like, he should be dead, but the spirit of Cassidy is keeping him alive, so that way he can feel pain and suffer as he goes through this, ultimate challenge of facing all of the creations that he's made. After that, it's been, now jump ahead a while, like a long time. I don't have a year, but I guarantee you it's probably been a long, long time. Someone, I don't know who, they were probably drunk, gets the idea for the funniest bit ever. They decide, what if we reinvented Fazbear Entertainment? yeah. You can't tell me they're, like, not drunk or high when they're saying that, because have they seen what happened? Like, come on. But, they decide to go forward with it. They create a new version of Fazbear Entertainment. First thing they do, the best thing they think they can do is to create a funny game that that plays on the original, that plays on all of the what they call rumors that happened at Freddy Fazbear so long ago, aka the murders. It's a ploy to try to get them to clear themselves their name, so that way they can become popular, make money again, and just reestablish themselves as a corporate brand. So they decide to make it a VR game because we're a long time into the future now, post 2023, because that was when FNAF 3 and 6 took place. So VR's the future, bitches. What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? What they do is make a VR. They make a ploy of team. They make a team and start game. They have their goal is to make like a lot of money off of it. Come on, man. There we go. So they get a team together and they start working on this game. This is where we get led. Actually, yeah, this is where we get led to a girl who I'm gonna name Cassette Girl. Cassette Girl basically is a beta tester for this VR game, and she discovers something. What that is, I'll have to give some context for, which I will do right now because I'm not good with planning. So basically, what it is go back to when this game was like first in its infancy. Probably somewhere in the realm of Fazbear's Frights or FNAF 6, the team behind the VR game had discovered some old circuit boards used by Fazbear Entertainment. And they decide to reuse them in the VR game for authenticity's sake. Give it that really extra help, and it also to reduce development time and costs, while also cutting corners a little bit. But what they don't understand is that code that they found the computer chips. Those were like computer chips that had the coding on them, that like authentic coding, actually had something on it. Something malicious, something evil, something purple. Yep. William Afton is somehow back, even after he this is a new version of Afton, like a separate version from the one that is in this hell right now. In this one, the code was an alternate version of William Afton. But they didn't know that, so they had to use it because higher ups told them to do so. So they unknowingly put this monster in the game, and they didn't even notice. Now, jump back to Cassette Girl, who's among the first to discover this monster, apart from Jeremy, which was the previous beta tester before Cassette Girl was, and he discovered this monster, and he began to get, and afterwards Jeremy's health began to degrade after seeing the monster, but addiction to going into the VR game to see the monster. Cassette Girl says that he showed up pale, tired. He would run toward, immediately have the VR headset on when she showed up for work. He would there was even one time where he went back into, or stayed at work until late, and then she went back into the VR room, beta testing room, to find Jeremy with the VR headset on and what looked to be a Halloween mask and inks a Halloween mask on the floor all throughout the room. The lights were off so she couldn't tell. As you can and morbid turn, that's him skinning his face off with some blood. right before that, this company was going to fire him because, his degraded activity and they thought he'd seen too much, but they could fire him due to the whole face skin thing. So that monster, turned him insane, and, or Afton turned him insane, and now, without a beta tester, Cassette Girl is going to be the one to have to take over for Jeremy before the game is released to the public. So, what she does is she records her findings about this monster in a series of cassettes, and she hides them within a certain hidden area of the VR game that someone can access in the future to learn more about this and how to get rid of it before the game actually comes out, because the studio is nearing bankruptcy. They've done too much to the game, and so basically, after the whole firing thing, everything kind of went downhill for both the company, and now they were gonna go bankrupt tapes, so that way when the new company that they supposedly got to finish the game gets it, the beta tester will figure it out and find out how to delete this before it's released. So that leads us into the events of Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted. I don't have it on my PC, mostly because I have an Oculus Quest 2 over there, but I'm not... Again, you won't be able to see the actual game. So, sorry, give me just a second. There, that's good enough. It says Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. The story of Help Wanted is that we, the VR player, are actually a beta tester for this game, and we are finding, and our goal is to play the game while also discover these cassettes which are hidden throughout the game. We have to look and grab them, and then we can listen to them to hear about all of this backstory of Cassette Girl and everything. So we're the last beta tester for this, and we basically we just play the VR game, have fun while collecting coins, cassette tapes, eventually to stop the monster, which has taken on a form of the golden spring Afton used to wear, and is now going by the name of Glitch Trap. Yay. Okay. Glitch Trap. He's a weird one. But we play through the game. We try to stop Glitch Trap. But in all of the possible endings we can get in this game, we fail. So there is no good ending. Essentially, what happens is I like to call digital consciousness transference. What it means is that Glitch Trap is possessed by a malicious entity that wants to escape, and so it takes it through the VR game. It takes our body, us, to leaves and swaps its body with us, and we get swapped into the body of Glitch Trap. So it basically takes our human body. So it escapes because there is no good ending, which means that the body of we are playing as has become infested with a voice in its head of William Afton. We essentially become kind of a puppet of Afton. So this leads us to the DLC for this game that came out, which was The Curse of Dreadbear. And Halloween DLC, and I'm not going to say much because it's just a fun game. You should go play it. But the only important thing we need to know is through one of the games where if you go into a basement of a shed or something, you will find a bunny mask, a white one. And if you take this mask back with you to your the hub area, and hold the green little bunny plush that you get for beating the game, you will hear a conversation between a young woman and William Afton. what it is essentially the but what I'm just gonna I don't want to explain the whole conversation, so I'm just gonna take out the important details. The white bunny mask is the young woman's. Like, she's trying to like she's basically a reluctant puppet of Afton's, like a reluctant one. So William Afton's trying to convince her to follow in his footsteps, but she's reluctant to do it, even though she's made a mask, the white one that we're wearing. That's hers. And so basically what she is she's kind of the successor to William Afton. So while she is reluctant, she kind of can't really stop the Afton who is now in her head. And so they and so Vanessa is the young woman who so Vanessa agrees to basically become a follower, and because of the mask, it's basically like a cult. There is now a cult of William Afton. Never before did I think that a game about child murder would descend into a cult of digital code, but here we are. So, Vanny intends to become the successor of Afton, and to do that, she's going to need a couple things. One, a bunny suit. She's already got that for the most part. White mask, which probably means she has like a suit. And two, some little kids to kill. And it wouldn't take long for that to happen. Now would it? So with Vanny now brainwashed and ready to go, the Fazbear Entertainment somehow still, I don't know how, decide probably under some new people after the VR game. I don't know, but someone. But whoever it is, they were rich as fuck because they decide to make the biggest and grandest return to the Fazbear name ever. A giant mega pizzaplex that's basically a shopping mall times 3 times pizza times robots times everything you could ever want in one building. It was huge. It was awesome. It was 80s looking, but the most important thing, it was a Freddy's location, which means that Vanny now has a new target. A new target for a place to go in and probably kill kids, all in the name of Afton. And this leads us to the most recent and final game in our timeline. Give it a second. It's trying its best. There we go. Okay. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Now, I'm gonna make a confession. I have yet to finish this game, so I can't really discuss it much. I know. It's disappointing. But essentially, this game is taking place inside the Pizzaplex. We are a boy named Gregory who has lost his way in the Pizzaplex and gets some help from Glamrock Freddy, one of the main star animatronics, to escape. Only problem is he doesn't reach the doors in time before they lock, so he has to survive until 6 a.m. in the Pizzaplex. That is the plot of this game, and essentially where I will leave everything. I have yet to finish this. I'm close though. I'm like dead at the end, but I haven't gotten the ending yet, so I can't talk about it. But this is the last. The game has 4-star animatronics, Glamrock, which are called the Glamrocks, Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Chica, Monty the Gator. He's a new one, probably because in the game there you discover like a log that suggests that Bonnie was found torn up and that Monty can replace him. So essentially, I think Monty like fucked up Bonnie so that way he could be a main star. Talk him out an attention craver. Good lord. And then there's Roxanne Wolf, who is the replacement for Foxy. She's a cocky wolf who loves to race. And that thing. This has been in the entire journey of Five Nights at Freddy's. Thank you guys for sticking with me for this long. We're gonna be talking about some other things in the future, but I hope you'll still stick around despite not hearing more FNAF stuff. Uh, and I think that's thing. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks for letting me lore dump.